What if you could see exactly when someone was about to die, but no matter how hard you tried, you couldn't always save them? This is the reality for Siena, a high school student who returns from a violent near-death experience with a perspective she never asked for. Physically, she recovers, but the world around her has changed. The school hallways feel colder, and a heavy, unsettling atmosphere follows her home. She begins seeing dark, shadowy figures hovering near specific people, spectral markers that appear only to her. Siena attempts to warn her friends, but they dismiss her panic as a symptom of post-traumatic stress. She is left to navigate these visions alone, isolated by a truth no one else can see. These visions follow a specific, mechanical timeline. The process begins when a faint, semi-transparent gray shape appears above a person's head, indicating approaching death. Over time, it fills with solid black ink. Once it reaches the end of this timeline and locks into place, death is certain. Shortly after the sign darkens, the victims suffer violent, unavoidable accidents that leave no room for survival. Her friends, Flo, Nenny, and Vina, initially treat Siena's fear as a psychological breakdown, refusing to believe in the supernatural markers she describes. That denial ends when a predicted death happens exactly as Siena described. Facing a body that shouldn't be there, the group has to accept that the shadows are real. What started as Siena's private trauma has become a shared reality for the entire group as the deaths move closer to their inner circle. Siena finds her only emotional support in 𝗫𝗂, a senior student who stays by her side while everyone else is paralyzed by fear. The situation turns personal when Siena looks at 𝗫𝗂 and sees the same dark shadow looming directly over his shoulder. Seeing the mark on 𝗫𝗂 forces Siena to move from watching the deaths to trying to stop them. She begins tracking his daily routine, looking for any possible gap or deviation that might interfere with the entity's timing. As the predicted hour of his death approaches, the signs around 𝗫𝗂 intensify, leaving Siena with only minutes to act. She steps directly into the path of the threat, attempting to block a sequence of events that has claimed every other person she warned. Siena physically struggles against an unseen pressure in the air, desperately reaching out to pull 𝗫𝗂 away from a lethal accident. At the very last second, she manages to shove him out of the path of his destined demise. 𝗫𝗂 survives the moment, but the lethal force does not vanish. Instead, it immediately claims the life of another friend who was standing nearby. Siena realizes that her intervention didn't stop the death, it only redirected it. A life was saved, but the debt was still collected. The shadows continue to appear, indifferent to her efforts. Siena is left with the understanding that while she can see the end coming, she cannot change the final count. Aku Tahu Kapan Kamu Mati presents a world where knowing the future provides no power over it, focusing on the frustration of seeing a disaster you cannot prevent. The film is anchored by its cold, blue-black cinematography and the use of heavy shadows to build a constant sense of dread within a familiar high school setting. If you enjoy Indonesian horror movies and cinematic movie explanations, subscribe to Movieverse AI English for more.